with a very special shout out and thank you to Lynn and Susan in Asteroid Fight Club. My comprehensive coverage of COVID-19, the coronavirus, continues. And it is March 10th, exactly 10 days from when Trump said we have 15 cases and we'd be at 0 soon. And, well, he was absolutely totally wrong. We're at 959 now, and that number is only escalating. I've said that stories we will see in the next week or so will be about politicians and then celebrities getting the coronavirus. And today we're talking about UK Health Minister Nadine Dorries test positive for the coronavirus. Reportedly first became ill on Friday and has been in contact with hundreds of people, including the Prime Minister. Today, we have 6 lawmakers in the United States who are in self-quarantine after the exposure to the coronavirus. We have Ted Cruz, Paul Gosar, Doug Collins, Matt Gaetz, Julia Brownley, and Representative Don Beyer. In good news, but way behind the curve, both Biden and Sanders have announced they will no longer be doing rallies, which they should have done like a month ago. Stocks had a bounce up, dead cat bounce day, when Trump announced a possible bailout for the oil industry and a payroll tax that will be, the payroll tax might go away until the end of the year. But if people aren't working, then I don't know how the payroll tax is really going to help. Washington sits at a 10% fatality rate, and Italy sits at an 8% fatality rate. I know that if you want to say this is just because a lot of people haven't been tested or the numbers aren't in, but we're going with this thing has a fatality rate anywhere between 1 to 10%. Has been my whole thought process the whole time here since about January 30th. We treat this as a bioweapon that got out of the lab, and I've been highly recommending you play total defense throughout all of March and technically since February 10th. And so Japan closed all schools for their 128 million people population when they had 200 coronavirus infections and 7 deaths. Washington State now has 236 cases and 25 dead amongst its 7.5 million residents. Colorado has just declared a state of emergency over the coronavirus. And yeah, it's getting weird, and it will continue to get weirder. With no real containment issues or measures taken, the numbers are jumping pretty fast as they've jumped from 600 to, like I said, we're almost at 1,000. Illinois now has 19 confirmed cases, and a top immunologist and virologist believe New York tri-state areas growing and emerging a coronavirus hotspot. I've been asking which cities will be put in lockdown first, Washington State, like Seattle, or New York. I would guess New York because Cuomo's been on top of it. Massachusetts has just announced 51 new cases of the coronavirus, bringing the total number to 92, 124% increase from yesterday. And 70 of the cases are related to a single Biogen conference in Boston. 6 of those people are hospitalized. Pearl Jam canceled its concert, saying it hasn't helped that there's been no clear messages from our government regarding people's safety and our ability to go to work. And that has been true because both Republicans and Democrats have been showing that the election and then the economy are more important than the people's health. I mean, it just took them to today to cancel freaking rallies. Austria closes its borders with Italy, bans indoor events with more than 100 people, and closes universities to stop the spread. Infectious Diseases says more people die from car accidents than bear attacks. But if you saw a sleuth of bears, really that's the name, running at you, you wouldn't say to the bear, cars kill more people. You'd take time to attempt some type of social distancing maneuvers really fast. Or, unless you're part of a political cult, you would just believe the bear is a hoax. France reporting on 1,784 cases with 33 fatalities. That brings it at a 2% fatality rate. And U.S. Republican Senator Rubio says scope of payroll tax cuts being considered for coronavirus relief could be around $300 billion, which would be about $800 per person if you divided $300 billion by 377 million. A payroll tax cut is incentive to work. What we want right now is a way to compensate people for not working, since I'm pretty sure 1 week from now, large portions of the United States will be in lockdown. And that is why for 5 weeks, I've been telling everybody to get mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared, plus stock up on groceries, batteries, things you might need if you are going to stay home from anywhere from 2 to 4 months. Washington State Governor Jay Inslee said Tuesday that the entire state of Washington might need to be quarantined, locked down, because of the outbreak. Without it, they project 64,000 cases in Washington State alone by May. And since February 20th, the USA has been doubling every 3 days. If we keep up this pace, the U.S. should exceed 10,000 cases before round 2 of March Madness at the end of next week, assuming there is a round 2. And I got a feeling the weather's about to start getting nasty here in a week or two. So we're going to have a lot more things to deal with than just the virus. And in more bad news, an engineer who attended the RSA cybersecurity conference, it turns out 2 people have now tested positive that were at the RSA security conference in San Francisco last month. And so you see weird variants in the reports of how long the virus stays on surfaces. You see weird reports of how long it incubates inside you. I see any reports from 4 days to 8 days to 8 days to 18 days. And so I believe there has been a lot of community spread that has been going on for definitely the last 2 to 3 weeks. I also have a feeling hurricane season is going to start early. Let's hope the atmospheric defense team and the prayer warriors can keep hurricanes at bay, because the last thing we'd want is a hurricane hitting a coast when we are dealing with lockdown measures. And one of the biggest influences I've had on my coverage the whole time has been the videos that leak out from other countries. The videos that used to leak out from China in the first few days of the virus will stay with me for the rest of my life. And this video of a nurse from Iran talking about how the government is totally lying about the numbers, and that she alone in one single day saw 100 death cases. And so our country is number 1 in the least amount of people tested in the world. We trail behind Japan, UK, Netherlands, Israel, Italy, South Korea, you name it. We are number 1 at the slowest handling this shit. And so this was 8:08 5 hours ago. If I refresh here, it's still at 9:59, but I mean, that's pretty big jumps. Texas just had its first case in Tarrant County. I have a feeling Houston is probably a hot spot, especially with the rodeo that just went through. Tarrant County got its first confirmed case. All schools and major gathering places within a 1-mile radius of New Rochelle, New York, will be shut down for 2 weeks, and the National Guard will be brought in to help deliver food and clean. Yeah, Trump today said, we're doing a great job with it. It will just go away. Just stay calm. But be calm. It's really working out, and a lot of good things are going to happen. But he keeps telling people, hey, this is just going to go away. And one by one, we're watching schools and universities across the United States close. Yeah, we're about 2 weeks behind Italy, and they have seen a mass surge in cases, and their healthcare system has been extremely overwhelmed. And when I check in on the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard reports, they are all taking it very seriously. I believe doctors in northern Italy say they could soon be forced to decide who will live and who will die as intensive care units become overwhelmed. The mortality rate in Lombardy is now over 8%, likely higher than Wuhan. But the government's main purpose has been not to get people to panic. And so that's why I have taken a highly paranoid view of it this whole time. Because if the numbers were around 8 to 10%, then more people would probably be, having more fear. But I'm saying either way, stay strong. Because we will survive this, although lives are going to be lost. It's not the end of the world, but the world as we know it will not be the same in 2021. China is going to send Italy 1,000 lung ventilators, 2 million face masks, 20,000 protective suits, and 50,000 test kits. This is a doctor from Italy. My friends call me in tears because they see people dying in front of them, and they can only offer some oxygen, we have the same pattern in different areas a week apart, and there is no reason that in a few weeks it won't be the same everywhere. This is the pattern. Tons of patients with moderate respiratory failure that over time deteriorate to saturate ICUs first, then NIVs, then CPAP hoods, and even O2. Staff gets sick, so it gets difficult to cover shifts. Mortality spikes also from all other causes that can't be treated properly. And so this is the thing, is that it attacks your lungs. And so, like, this is more serious than the flu in almost every single way. And I cannot stress enough that you need to play defense in March. Greece has now closed all schools and universities across the country as the coronavirus cases reaches 89. So don't give up hope. Don't lose faith. But 2020 is going to be the wildest year you have ever known. And that we have not only the coronavirus, we have the Russian/Saudi Arabian oil price war going on. I believe the weather's going to get weirder. And there's just a whole lot going on right now that is very, I can't even think of the word, man. Mercury must not be fully direct yet. All right, so I am your Planetary Defense Commander. I'll do the best job I can to keep you safe and with good information. And so please stay cool. We have reason to think that there's a chance this might just disappear in July, but that is about 117 days from now. So be prepared to go into lockdown in the next week or two. And then just be prepared to stay cool and figure out a good way out of this, or how to rebuild civilization after we all get done with our 1 to 2 month, 3 month vacation. God bless you. Thank you. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.